All right, we are live. Welcome to Flip Connect Media, where we interview entrepreneurs and real estate investors from across the globe, sharing some of the best kept strategies and secrets to wholesalers to help them scale their businesses. Greg Simpson is on board today. He is a native of St. Petersburg, Florida. He's lived in the Tampa Bay area his entire life. He's always had a passion for real estate. And when the Tampa market was hit by the recession in 2008, 2009, he made it his goal to help rebuild this community. And he's made it his life mission since. Currently lives in Tampa with his beautiful wife, Jackie, and their family of fur babies consisting of 3 dogs and a cat. Greg is the CEO and chief home buyer at 1-800-OutFast, where they specialize in buying properties from distressed homeowners for a fast, fair price. They either fix the house up and sell it, or they may add it to their rental portfolio, sometimes even sell them to other investors who are looking for great off-market deals. Greg is also one of the owners of OutFast Realty and Investments, where they work with both sellers and buyers to help achieve their goals throughout the home selling and buying process. They specialize in working with investors to bring them the best possible properties and add value to their portfolios as well. Currently, Greg is the president of the Tampa Bay REIA, Real Estate Investors Association, which is Tampa Bay's largest real estate investor club. And they've been going over 6 meetings each month, every single month, all around the area. So without further ado, Greg, welcome on board, bro.
Thanks, Ben. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited for our meeting today, man, because you're obviously a mover and a shaker in the market, man. And love just getting you out so you could share with the audience and really help them figure out what they need to do to take them from where they are and where they need to be.
And sure. I mean, we can talk about all sorts of different things today. And hopefully I can bring lots and lots of value for you guys that are watching now and in the future. So, I mean, I'm an open book, transparent. So if there's anything that you guys want to know, I'll tell you straight up like it is. I don't hold any punches. And some people like that, some people don't, but I keep it real with people. Hence the reason like all of my handles are at Real Greg Simpson, because I'm going to keep it real with you. Because, you know, there's a lot of foo-foo, a lot of rah-rah bullshit out there that, I don't agree with and I don't subscribe to. So I'm a 10Xer, and that's on purpose. So
that's it. Yep. Think about the amount of action that you think is going to take to reach your goals in the beginning, and you could probably multiply the action times 10, because it's going to take so much more work than you anticipated. But once you commit to that process and really dive into to the actions, it's going to really produce the results. So I love it, man. That's awesome. So you're big on, management. You have so many different operations going in sync, right? You're currently flipping houses. You guys are running an active wholesaling business. You have a realty company, the REIA. Tell us how you manage so many moving parts at one time.
It's difficult, obviously. I mean, I have several businesses I am running. I have OutFast Realty, which is, I would say, the primary business. The 1-800-OutFast is basically the home buying aspect where I actually do my fix and flips in the wholesaling through. The realty does the wholesaling, but it's just the 1-800-OutFast essentially is like a separate entity. So that's its whole animal. The realty side is its own animal. We have a property management division, which is its own animal. There's so many moving parts. And then the REIA itself is definitely a huge driver and a huge undertaking as it is. Because like you said, we have I think we have 7 meetings every single month right now. And it's definitely a juggling act in a lot of different respects. But I mean, we can go dive in a little bit as we go. But I mean, the biggest thing, man, is you got to have a team. I'm so sick of these people that keep saying that they're a self-made millionaire, billionaire. There's the whole thing with Kylie Jenner is this whole big, is she a self-made millionaire, billionaire or not? And the answer is yes and no. But she can't do it, whether you believe she's a self-made billionaire or not. She didn't do it herself. She's got a social media manager. She's got an agent. She's got a manager for her day to day. I'm sure she has personal assistants up to what. You've got to have a team. You don't get to any status in life without having some sort of a semblance of team behind you. I mean, I don't know how you want to go with this, but like we can dive into what my team looks like, how many people are on the team, what their roles and responsibilities are. But at the end of the day, like none of this happens without a rock solid foundation of a team. We can go into like how we hire, how we fire, how we, again, like I said, what roles and responsibilities there are to keep this machine moving.
Sure.
So I don't know which way you want to go with that.
Let's talk about what your team looks like today and the progress and process of how you put those key people in place and what it looks like to really keep talent when you have it.
Okay. So let's start with with a couple of years ago, I was basically the solopreneur with one virtual assistant. And so before we started the brokerage side of the business, I had, I was basically just wholesaling and rehabbing here and there. And the team at that point consisted of myself, both the visionary and integrator, along with having a virtual assistant to run some of the admin stuff that we did. Eventually, I did hire an in-house admin as well as I started growing. And then about 2.5 years ago, through my connections with the REIA, I met one of my now business partners, Jeremy Cloder, who is a real estate agent. And what ended up happening essentially is the market started to really, really shift into a full-on retail market. And as someone who is not a real estate agent, I am not licensed. I do not have a real estate license at all. I just do own the brokerage. I am the CEO. I do run it, but I am not a licensed agent. In the state of Florida, I don't know how it is in all areas of the country, but in most states, you cannot be paid on a real estate transaction if you are not a licensed real estate agent. So as the market started shifting towards the retail side, our leads are asking for retail pricing, or they just, they were better off listing with an agent. Well, I can't monetize that. So Jeremy and I kind of put our heads together with my dad, who is actually our broker, and was like, why don't we just open up a brokerage and, work both sides of the business? And so that's kind of where that happened. So it was basically us as the three partners, still had that one virtual assistant. I think I had an admin. I still had an in-house admin at that point. And at that point, we started recruiting agents. So fast forward a couple of years now, I think we're up to 20 real estate agents on our team. We have retail agents and investment agents. We have full-time agents and part-time agents.
Wow.
We have a social media manager who also is our office manager right now. She kind of got thrust into that position because we fired our office manager about, I want to say like 6 months ago. Just haven't rehired anybody. But she also does my TB REIA admin as well, because that kind of runs itself. But my TB REIA side, we have 6 or 7 meetings, of which I host one of them. So there's nothing there. But I also have the other 5 subgroups that we have. There's 2 people that run each of those meetings. So there's 10 people there that I have to manage and keep an eye on and make sure they're doing their jobs and make sure they're providing good content to us. So the team's big. There's lots of moving parts to it. So
I love it. So talk about the systems in place as far as like team communication apps and different programs you use. For example, we're on Slack, right? Some of our VAs are in the Philippines. I have my data guy who's in Bangladesh. All over the place. We got some office admin, but tell us about how you guys communicate and stay in sync as a team. What are some key apps and tools you use?
So most of our communication is done through Google Hangouts. We do everything through G Suite. So we have email and all that is integrated together. So we were using Slack for a little while, but it was just another app that we had to have. So we just started migrating everything over to Google Hangouts. They've really improved that platform over the last 6 months to a year. So almost all of my communications are done through Hangouts, formerly known as GChat.
Sweet. Yep. I love it. Google is a powerhouse, man. Like they do. If you're not already utilizing the Google suites, Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Forms, you are missing out. Like communication.
Having an iPhone and having to be able to a lot of our between my partner Jeremy, between a bunch of our agents, if they have an iPhone, man, we do voice chats all the time, and that saves us so much time than having to pick up the phone and stuff like that, because chatting still takes a long time with texting and stuff like that through G Suite and all that crap. So I encourage our team members to have an iPhone as well.
The old model is becoming obsolete. If you're not starting to adapt this new digital forefront, you're going to get left in the dark. 10 years from now, half of our jobs are going to be gone, because everything is being automated. You have artificial intelligence coming into play and data-driven businesses, and it's progressing more and more every single day. So if you don't start to use and integrate with these tools, working on team workspace, sharing programs, then you're going to have a rude awakening. I encourage you to study up and figure out how to collaborate with organizations and teams, because again, that's what we're looking at in this new digital forefront. It's huge.
Agreed. Yeah, it's all changing very rapidly.
Yep, it's crazy. And if you truly want to embrace the position as an entrepreneur, right? Entrepreneurs have become this new shiny object that everyone wants to be, everyone wants to chase, but
yeah,
I feel like there's very little understanding of what that actually takes, right?
Yeah.
You're the conductor, you're the one that's making the calls, and you're putting key people in place. You're not the technician. In some cases, you're managing, because you got to manage your numbers, KPIs, make sure your team's in place. But even beyond that, identifying key people in place that can manage those day-to-day operations that allows you to think and structure and market whatever you're doing. Business is a team sport, life is a team sport, real estate, team sport, baby. Get with it.
Yeah, we use the analogy of wanting to be the New England Patriots, even though I hate the Patriots. I'm not a fan of them. Unfortunately, I'm a Bucs fan, so I don't know why I torture myself. But the long and short of it is, you've got to model what works, and having the team all on the same page, sharing the vision, sharing the mission, and understanding how important having the proper culture and having the people that buy into that culture is paramount, and having the team rowing in the right direction, in the same direction even.
That's it.
So that's another part of it too, man, that people forget as entrepreneurs. Like, the culture is what you make it. And if you make it a shitty culture, you're going to have shitty employees, and you're going to have, if you're a shitty person and you wonder why your business isn't moving forward, it's probably because you're not building the right culture around you, or not instilling in people the right kind of culture that it takes to become, an Apple, a Google, Facebook, those kind of things. Like, that didn't happen by accident. Those were all engineered to be a specific way that they wanted to do their business. So it's one of the most crucial and critical aspects of the business that a lot of times gets overlooked.
That's powerful. And they all started in a garage,
Mm-hmm.
Well, first they started in someone's mind. I'm a firm believer everything was created twice, right? It starts in your imagination. You create a plan from there and figure out how you can bring that into reality, right? Vision's being able to see what others can't. So you got to step out and figure how to really get that off the ground.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So let's dive into some marketing, man. Because again, marketing fuels great businesses. Real estate is huge on marketing. What are some of your primary sources that you're running? Are you doing PPC? You doing a lot of direct mail?
Nope.
Cold calling? What are you guys doing?
We are ramping back up cold calling. We had done a little bit of that last year, or quite a bit of that last year. One of our acquisitions guys has moved on, started his own thing, which I encourage people to do eventually. I mean, we're in the real estate business. People move on and do their own things, which is totally cool. But we just had migrated some data over to a new dialer. So we're kind of getting those systems back up and running. So we're not doing it as we speak this very second, but that will all start back up actually next week. But most of our stuff is actually done, and the majority of our money is made, and it's the old school way. Believe it or not, is networking. And that doesn't necessarily mean just going out there and networking in groups, but like social media networking. I'm a very big believer in Facebook Lives, being active on Instagram stories and stuff like that, because people want to see it. And I see people all the time reach out to me, literally message me, probably, I would say maybe 2-3 times a month. Different people reach out and say, hey man, I've been loving watching your videos. Looking to get started in real estate investing. How do I get started? How do I buy a fixer up, or how do I do this? We get sellers that reach out. Hey, a lot of them are retail sellers, which is fine because we just push them off to one of our agents. But a lot of our marketing is done socially through networking, and also in person. I'm a big believer in building your in-person, face-to-face networking, such as, BNIs and revenue generating activity groups and chambers. I'm not a big fan of chambers, but I'm just using that as an example of getting out there and getting your branding out there and getting your name out there into the community of people that, because I'm telling you, the more people that know you, the more business you can do.
That's it.
We're big on RVMs, ringless voicemails, and text blasts. Dude, that's killer. Because everyone opens their text messages. Their RVMs are great too, but not everybody gets the RVMs because it doesn't always connect just right. But man, everyone opens their text messages. So we've got two deals, I think, under contract right now from it. What we do is RVM along with a text blast at the same time. So it hits them one way or the other.
Sure.
But the text message is basically what they're replying to. And we have, I believe, 2 under contract right now from that in the last couple weeks.
That's awesome. What are you using for your
on a bigger base
text blast campaigns? I said, what are you using for your text blast campaigns?
We use Roar.
Roar?
Just leave it. Yeah, you can leave it on the table. Yep. Sorry.
Sweet.
Yeah, we use Roar.
PODo? What's your CRM?
Nope. We have gotten off the dreaded PODo platform. We are on Investor Fuse 2.0.
How is that?
Right now, I'm loving it, man. And I'm going to give Dan a big shout out. They have worked their asses off to fix some of the issues that they had in the very beginning. Yep. He didn't shy away from it. When a lot of people would have been, folded and crumbled because they had some glitches and some bugs in the beginning. But more power to them. They pushed through, they powered through, and now it is rocking and rolling. And I am very, very happy with what 2.0 is doing. We just migrated over about a month ago completely. We were still on 1.0. We've been using Investor Fuse for years with those guys. And we just moved over to 2.0 fully about mid early February, and it's badass, man. Yeah, it's so much better than PODo because PODo is very clunky. It's sometimes slow depending on how many users are out there. If you want to send a text blast or a voicemail, or I mean not a voicemail, but a text blast or whatever. Sometimes it doesn't go out for hours because they're backlogged in their system. So, and you can hit buttons inside PODo, and sometimes it takes 60 seconds to 2 minutes for that action to take place. And it was driving me crazy. So we've moved all the way over off of PODo completely, and we're loving 2.0 now.
That's good to hear. Yeah, we're still on PODo. We're using the Beast Mode extension, similar to the old Investor Fuse. It's solid, man. But again, it's PODo. It's PODo.
Yeah. Is that Don Ross's or Donald Ross's mode? Yep. Yeah. I've seen that. It's good stuff, man. But again, PODo is, you can do, what's cool about PODo is obviously you can do whatever you want with it, but it's still clunky and it's still slow sometimes. And it's just, it's somebody else's software. So what's cool about 2.0 though, man, is that you can actually do a lot of customization to that as well based on how you do your business. So they've done a really good job of finally getting to a point where it's basically 100% functional.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm very happy so far.
Super user-friendly interface too, right?
It is. Well, they just launched about a week or two ago. I think it was about 2 weeks ago, which really got me on the migration over completely off PODo was their KPI dashboard and key performance indicators as well. Yep. Man, it's legit. So I don't know if you're using Pleatco or whatever that, or Pletco. Yeah. To your KPI dashboard, you don't need that anymore. It's all integrated into 2.0. So shout out to Dan and Carlos and John over there over at Investor Fuse for finally getting it ready and rock and rolling. So thanks,
that's awesome. That's strong. Cool, man.
But yeah, it's really good because, a lot of things that we had issues with PODo was that everyone had access to everybody else's data, which now it's only assigned to the person that you assign it to. You can't see somebody else's tasks. You see your tasks and only your tasks, which is huge because it helps keep them focused on their job and not seeing somebody else's job out there. And their buyers are their buyers and stuff like that. What
would you say the learning curve is for someone jumping in under the hood? If you're, just putting them on one day, you think a couple days you're ready to go? That user friendly?
Yeah, definitely. Because what's great about what they did too is as they implemented new stuff into 2.0 is they've got so much video content in their help desk where if you have any questions, you don't even really need to reach out to support. There's a video for how to get it all set up. It probably take you realistically, it probably take you about 3 or 4 days to get all of your call rail stuff set up, your integrations into your Carrot site and stuff like that. But overall, yeah, you can be operational very, very quickly with it. And they also help you with that data migration as well. But just learning the system itself is very simple.
Sure.
Yep.
Let's give some of these users some real valuable tips that could really help them dial in. What would you say some of your favorite lists are to hit at this current market?
Favorite lists. Honestly, my favorite list is still your driving for dollars list, man.
Yeah, build your own.
Day, still the best. Everybody asks me that question, and it's still the best is going out there and finding those houses that are not on a list. So everyone talks about the vacant house list. Yeah, that's great, but everybody and their mother has access to that list. Yep. If you have Kent Clothier's Real Estate Worldwide, you have access to that list. There's other data subscribers out there that have that. Probate's obviously still one of the best lists out there. But again, it's still one of those ones that everyone has access to. You can subscribe to Probates Daily if it's in your market, or you can, get it off of certain other websites. Pre-foreclosures are everywhere too. But those are all the things that everybody can find themselves. Like, you can go pay for that.
That's it.
But getting your ass out there, and we're building a team of property locators or bird dogs, whatever you want to call them in your business. Finding those ugly distressed properties is still the best way to find them.
Do you currently have some bird dogs that drive neighborhoods full time for you now?
Right now, we don't. Our agents kind of act as our bird dogs here and there, but we actually just put together an entire training platform where it breaks down every aspect of that. So what we're doing is now starting probably Monday or Tuesday, I'm having my virtual assistant going to start putting out running ads on Facebook to different areas, posting them in some of the Facebook groups, looking for people that will want to have that side hustle, if you will.
Yep.
And they basically will go through a process through one of our sales funnels. I keep hitting this thing through our sales funnel. And once they do that, they'll get access to our training website, and they can actually, learn how to go find ugly house. It's pretty awesome, dude. And then we'll just build this huge list of bird dogs out there finding properties for us again.
It's automated. You don't have to worry about training them every time. They can jump on, watch that webinar. They got the Deal Machine app or whatever you're connecting them to, and you put them out in the field. They're good to go.
Yep,
right?
That's exactly what we're doing.
Track their numbers. That's strong.
Exactly. So yeah, it's a matter of taking, that the hardest part about being an entrepreneur is taking the time to do your business, then taking the time to actually build some systems and processes and create videos and create content to replicate things, and so you can scale. Because if you're going to keep doing it all yourself and never find a way to do that to where you take time to allocate to training other people, you're never going to be able to scale.
That's true. Yep.
You should see how many videos we have, dude. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'd say we probably have close to 400 videos for like so many different aspects of different parts of the business versus, retail versus investments and then those investment sides are broken down into acquisitions agents and then dispositions agent. Then you have virtual assistant trainings. Then you have cold caller trainings. You have bird dog. I mean, there's just so many videos that you have to create, but unless you take the time to do that, you're never going to be able to, ramp up and do other things.
You organize those videos within Google Drive. Is there a spot in your CRM where you could set up the training platform and assign that to each team member?
No, we don't have it that way. You could, sure, but Google Drive is still limited on how much data you can put in it. And It also gets very clunky. You also can't track anything. So like you can't track have they watched this video or not. Sure. We have a system that we use that's a membership site that we can actually watch and see how many of the videos they've watched. So if they ask us, hey, I don't know what to do here. Well, did you watch the video? Oh, no. Well, we can tell you didn't watch the video because it tells us you didn't watch the video. Now, we also do in-person trainings too. Don't get me wrong. There's a huge value in having in-person trainings too. But like for the majority of the redundant stuff is all in a training website.
That's huge.
Yeah.
You got to start documenting. As far as your operating system, are you guys running on EOS? Do you know what EOS is?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Pretty much.
Yep. Yeah. EOS is strong. For those of you that don't know what EOS is, it's just an entrepreneurial operating system based off of the book Traction. There's a simplified book called What the Heck is EOS? And it will literally tell you how to break down that system. There's 6 pillars. It starts with vision, and then people. Do you have the right people in the right seats? Data. Great businesses are data-driven. Issues, how are you handling, resolving issues? Your process, your way of doing business, your standard operating procedures, and the last one being traction. So it's super important. The more that you get some results, cash those checks, but you need to start documenting and setting up a process for your business. Great companies, great organizations have standard operating procedures. That's what a franchise is, right? Franchise simply makes a process so easy that a 16-year-old could handle it. And then you can delegate, hand it off, focus on money-making activities, right?
Yeah, that's exactly why we did it the way we've done it. And that's why we've been so big on recording and video, taking video of our screens and, taking videos of all the things that we're doing, because we do plan on franchising OutFast Realty and Investments in the very near future. We plan on, because what we've done with that model, essentially, we've combined the We Buy Ugly Houses model and the Keller Williams model together. And essentially, we put systems and processes in place. And we've, with our attorneys, we've written up all the right disclosure documents, because when you're dealing with real estate licenses, you got to be very careful when you start doing wholesaling. And you're not representing buyer, not representing seller, you're not representing anybody in the transaction other than the entity that you're working for. And there's a lot of disclosures that have to happen, and there's a lot of legalities that have to make sure are correct. But we've done all that work for someone. So if they want to open up where they can hit a seller from multiple different aspects, we're going to franchise the real estate brokerage, the investment part, the rehabbing part, the property management part, the hard money lending part. It's all going to be this huge component that people will eventually be able to buy. Now, it's not going to be cheap because we're combining so many different businesses into one box, if you will, so that you're getting an entire real estate business in a box. But that's the long-term goal. In the next, I would say, what are we, March? Hopefully by the end of the year, we can sell our first franchise.
That's strong. I love it.
That's what we're working on.
Yep. Entrepreneurship is all about chipping away tiny little chunks every single day, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like you're running on a hamster wheel, trying to build this, trying to put that in place. But you focus on those small little activities, and just like compound interest, they build and stack on top of themselves. And eventually, for example, if you have a penny, right, and you double that penny every day for a month, you're gonna have more than $1 million, right?
Yep.
So just think about the actions you're taking. The small little steps. Every step is having a significant impact on bettering your tomorrow, right? So just think about that. Compound your action. That's 10xing right there, right? Compound the action you're taking, compound your education, and figure out what it's going to take for you to develop the mindset, the skills, and the abilities to be the person that you truly want to be, right?
Great book on that too is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
Yep, that's huge. That's a great book.
One of my favorite books.
Yep. It's like so many people want to be a millionaire, right? But if you can't balance a checkbook making $45,000 a year, what makes you think that you can be trusted balancing a checkbook making a couple $1 million a year, right?
Right.
More money, more problems, more responsibilities. So if you want to be that person, you have to become that person. It's huge.
B times do equals have.
Yep. That's it. If you were to give your younger self one piece of advice, Greg, what would that be and why?
Get into real estate earlier. I didn't get into until I was in my late 20s. And it's funny. We have this guy, I call him a kid. His name is Ben. I think he's 20 years old. He started coming to TV when he was 19. I was like, bro, I wish I had learned I didn't know what a REIA was. I didn't know anything about real estate when I was 18, 19 years old. And so if I could go back, I'd be like, dude, learn everything you can. I mean, we didn't have YouTube like it is now. Back then we didn't have a lot of this free stuff. You had to go to Carlton Sheets or Ron LeGrand to learn how to do real estate investing. But I would tell everybody to get in as soon as you possibly can. Teach your kids young. So if you've got kids, like my kid's going to come out of the womb listening to Robert Kiyosaki. With that poor dad, like I'm going to put the earmuffs on him when he's a baby because he's doing it just a couple months. So, that's literally, I'm going to teach him everything about, buying rental properties and stuff like that.
That's early. Awesome, man. That's your first kid, huh?
Yes, sir.
Congrats, bro. That's huge.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Coming soon.
That'll be your fifth full-time job.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be number one priority for sure. But yeah,
no doubt.
That's what we're doing. We're trying to get a lot of these systems and processes like 100% finished before May 8th is the due date. So we got our work cut out for us, but we're getting there and we're making big strides. I mean, part of this, the whole thing is like, you can have all the team you want, but if you don't have a coach to help coach you and keep you accountable too, you're screwed. Like, yes, you can have all the employees you want, but the team only goes as far as the leader can lead them. But if you only can lead them so far because your skill sets are only to a point, you can't grow your business. So we have so many different types of coaches. We have a wholesaling coach. We have a business coach. I have a referrals coach, like how to go generate referrals using social media and stuff like that. We're hiring a social media coach as well. You have to have multiple coaches. So you can't just, people get hung up on, having just a real estate coach. Well, yeah, that's good. But if you don't, that person may know how to teach you how to do real estate. They may not need to teach you how to run a business where you have employees, where you have, finances and stuff like that. There's so many different things that you need coaching on. It's not just real estate. And that's I think it's one of the biggest, balls that gets dropped in this business is hiring business coaches.
Yep. I would agree.
So
I know a lot of people talk about, a lot of the big wins, posting big checks, the successes and stuff.
Yeah.
But what are your struggles?
Oh, dude, struggles. Focus. Always is focus. There's always a new shiny object out there that promises this or promises that. And, as an entrepreneur, dude, I don't give a shit which business you're in. If you're an entrepreneur, we all have the shiny object syndrome. There's always some new technology, new system, new advertising, stream of marketing that we all go, oh, that sounds better. So we take our focus off of what we're doing that was working, and like, oh, we think we're going to be better over here, and it ends up not working as well than what you were doing prior to that. So I'd say the biggest thing is lack of focus. Gotten much better at that with in the last year, honestly, but it's still always a struggle. So by not having the right type of focus, that leads you down so many rabbit holes. So then the time management gets thrown completely out of whack.
Yep.
So like not having a structured day is really, people are like, oh, I can't manage my time. It's because we don't have the right focus on the right things to do each day. And so one of them, Darren Hardy, I look at him as one of my mentors because I've bought a lot of his stuff and a lot of his programs and whatnot over the years. But he has a program called Insane Productivity, but it all comes down to having the right level of focus.
That's strong. I'm
telling you, man, it's the hardest part.
Yeah, I deal with it bad. Shiny object syndrome is something serious. I would say if you're just starting out in the business, instead of getting all consumed and trying to learn every single marketing channel and how to do all these different creative deal structures, figure out that one thing that you want to accomplish. If you want to learn wholesaling, study up on wholesaling and become an expert at one marketing channel, right?
Correct.
Once you establish that, because again, you can try the shotgun marketing approach all you want, but it's just going to scatter your marketing dollars and you're going to accomplish very little. But if you can have that laser sharp focus and zero in, if you want to try direct mail, then stick with direct mail and hammer down on that until you become an expert, right? They say the results come the 5th to 7th time that you mail. So why are we not staying consistent? Shiny objects, man. That's the hugest thing that set me back so far when I started was I'm jumping from, PPC to, direct mail, now cold calling. And it wasn't until I committed to one activity, mastering that, then delegating, that I was able to really try to systematize and scale. And then you can move on to the next, but you got to become an expert in that one field first.
So one thing I want to say before we get off, man, and we kind of wrap this up a little bit, but like my goal for my company is to have one agent for one lead type. So let me give you an example. I want one agent that specializes in probates. I want one agent that specializes in the pre-foreclosure process, one agent that specializes in vacant land, one agent that specializes in multifamily up to a certain number, then a multifamily, 30 units plus, whatever. But I want that person to be an expert in that one channel. So that way, when that lead comes in, they know how to master that lead and make sure that they're not dropping the ball. Because, trust me, I've done every different type of deal you can possibly do other than big multifamily. And you lose focus still because you don't know how to necessarily overcome all the objections. Because if you don't know the entire pre-foreclosure process like the back of your hand, you're going to look like an idiot because there are so many intricate details to that process that, dude, it's impossible to make sure you're not dropping the ball. So that's my goal for my company. And that way, when I sell my franchises down the road, you're going to look, this is how you train your probate person. This is how you train your pre-foreclosures person, your vacant land, blah, 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 blah. So that way it's so systematized and it's so rigid and it's so so dumb, so easy a caveman could do it kind of thing.
Yep. That's huge.
So that's my goal.
Another huge success principle, begin with the end in mind, right?
Yeah.
So when you're starting, instead of thinking about what your tasks are going to drive tomorrow, think what type of system you're going to create 5-10 years down the line. So as you're learning, you're implementing. You can't just digest information and think you're going to grow. There's an art between learning and implementing, and you're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes, but that's truly how you accomplish great things, right? So figure out how you can become the person you want to be and commit to that action. It really is that simple,
100%.
Give us one quick story from your life, Greg, that really resonates with you and has had a significant impact on where you stand today.
Okay. Word that one more time. I think I got a good story for it. Ask me that question one more time.
Is there a story from your life that has had a significant impact on either your mindset or, even just where you stand today? What's had the largest effect on you mentally?
Sure. Believe it or not, I was actually at Tony Robbins' event about November of 2017. And I think it was on the third day. So it was like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so, it was Thursday, Friday. So it was on Saturday. He did this exercise where the room is completely dark. And walks you through this whole process or whatever. And he basically, the long and short of it is basically, where do you want to be in 10 years? Or 5 years, then 10 years, then 15. And I think it goes up to whatever, I forget what it was, but it was really powerful because it basically what happens if you don't do that stuff? What's your family? What's your lifestyle going to look like if you don't do that stuff? And I'll never forget, man, I cried like I could, like a little baby. It was because it was so moving, because it's we only have so much time on this planet and there's only so many hours in a day. So what are you going to do to make sure that you do reach those goals and those targets? But the emotional aspect of it is what we all forget about. And by cementing the emotional aspect of that exercise, man, that was really, really a game changer. So if you guys haven't been to a Tony Robbins event, I know a lot of people don't like the rah-rah stuff. I'm not a big rah-rah stuff, but there are a lot of great deep-seated, rooted type activities and exercises that he puts people through. And it really gets you a lot of great clarity on where you are, where you want to go, and how you're going to get there.
It's huge. And you don't realize how much the subconscious mind really impacts every decision that you make, right? 90% of your decisions and your habits and your patterns come down to your subconscious mind, right? What are you programmed to believe? What are your internal beliefs, right? What stems from that is going to determine where you stand today, tomorrow, 10 years from now. It's huge. That's why reading is so important. That's why, journaling, meditating, whatever your practice might be, it's so important to be in tune with your emotions and really connect with a deeper level, right?
Sure.
All successful people do that. We're getting close to wrapping up, man. Who is your favorite influencer?
Man, that's a tough one, dude. I'd say Darren Hardy is my favorite influencer. I'm definitely a big Grant Cardone fan, but for my, I'm a 10Xer through and through. But Darren Hardy resonates with me a lot more in general. Overall, I think Grant Cardone is great for the marketing aspect and the sales part of it and stuff like that. But honestly, Darren Hardy is my favorite.
Sure. What's the best book that you've ever read, and what's the number one thing that you pulled out of it?
The best book I ever read. The best book I would say I've ever read is Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. It's the CEO of Nike's memoir. My God, I actually listened to that book, the Audible version. I actually listened to it last night before I went to bed because it is the greatest story of entrepreneurship I've ever heard.
That's new to me. That's
dude, it's amazing. Absolutely my favorite book of all time. I listened to that book. I don't have time to sit down and read a lot. I sit down and read a lot of fictional books to decompress, but I listen to a lot of Audible books. I think I listened to that book 6 times last year, and it's a 13-hour book.
Wow.
That's how good it was. So yeah, definitely highly recommend that book.
Favorite quote and why?
Not a big quote guy.
No.
Here, I got one actually sitting here. I'm not going to tell you who said it because I'm not a big fan of who the guy that said it, but I love what it says. How would the person I'd like to become do the things that I'm about to do today? How would the person I'd like to become do the things that I'm about to do today?
It's serious.
Yeah.
Gets you in tune with where you are and the actions that you're currently taking.
Correct.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
What's the best way for people to find you online? And if, any listeners want to connect, any value you want to add, what's the best way for people to link up with Greg Simpson?
Facebook is great at Real Greg Simpson. I think that's my page. And Instagram, all that stuff. You can email me, greg@outfastrealty.com as well. I check that obviously multiple times a day. But yeah, shoot me a message on Facebook is great if you want to connect that way. Willing to help everybody out any way I can. That's
awesome, man. Well, powerful message today, bro. I greatly appreciate you coming on, sharing some advice. Have to get up soon, man. We might have to bring you up to South Carolina for a meetup or something.
Down.
Yeah.
Sounds good, dude.
Good deal, man. Keep on crushing it. We'll see you soon, bro.
Yeah, dude. Thanks, dude.
Yep.